Hi, I'm Amanda Wise. I'm the elementary math coach for Special School District of St. Louis County, and we're going to do a 4-video series on comparing and ordering fractions. So for the first lesson, we're going to talk about how to introduce comparing and ordering fractions. And so some teachers will want to just jump in, and if we're a little bit more strategic about how we introduce it, we can get students to start to generalize some of the rules. So for example, we start with 2/3 and 1/3. And we're trying to figure out which one is greater. By starting with similar denominators, it's very, very easy to compare these two. 2/3 is greater than 1/3. And so we can do our sign, our symbol this way. Similarly, if we do 3/4 and we compare that to 1/4, by keeping the denominators the same, it becomes very visually evident for children to see the difference between the two. 3/4 is greater than 1/4, and then we can draw our symbol this way. 2 dots for the one that's greater, 1 dot for the one that is smaller or lesser. I've seen teachers who give students cards, and they can go around the classroom and try to figure out amongst their peers which fractions are greater. So everyone would get cards with the same denominator, and then they can compare and order themselves that way. So for the last example, using same denominators, we do 7/8 compared to 5/8. By using that same denominator, it becomes very evident, if you line them up neatly, which one is greater. So 7/8 compared to 5/8. The greater gets 2 dots. The smaller number gets 1 dot. And then if we just connect them, it will automatically make our greater than symbol. Teachers also talk about how the alligator will eat the larger one. That still is confusing for students sometimes, and so the dots might help with that. So starting with the same denominator, giving students lots and lots of examples, we want them to generate this rule for themselves. When the denominator is equal, the fraction with the larger numerator is greater. So the fraction pieces with the more pieces is bigger. So once they're able to get this generalization, the next step would be to look at similar numerators. So if I compare 2/5 and 2/3, they both have 2 as a numerator, but their denominators are different. 2/3 is visually and very clearly larger when we look at them together. So I can put my 2 dots on 2/3, my 1 dot on 2/5 as a smaller one, and it will automatically make the less than symbol. So 2/5 is less than 2/3. Another example of this would be 5/6 compared to 5/10. And I always like to have students count these out. And when they're counting, it'd be 1/5 or 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6 compared to 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. And we're not worried about equivalence yet. We're not worried about them knowing that this is half just yet for this purpose. So our numerators are the same. The 5/6 is clearly larger, or clearly greater, so that gets 2 dots. And the 5/10 gets 1. And then when we connect the dots, 5/6 is greater than 5/10. So with lots of examples, students playing games, like I said, teachers will have them take cards around to their peers where everyone has the same numerator, and they try to compare and order themselves using different denominators. We want students to build this generalization. that when numerators are equal, the fraction with the smaller denominator is greater. And the reason the smaller denominator is greater is the pieces are bigger. So even though the 5, typically students would think about that as larger, because this is only cut into 3 pieces, the pieces are going to be larger. So this concludes the first part of comparing and ordering. Next, we're going to look at how to benchmark using a number line.